Today, we want to talk about shadows. In general, it can be said that shadows are divided into two groups. The shadows that have a very soft border are called soft shadows, and the shadows that have very sharp corners are called sharp or hard shadows. The size of the light source and the distance of the light source are two main factors that affect the softness or sharpness of the shadows. A soft shadow will be formed whenever the distance of the light source from your subject is less and your light source is bigger. When the distance between the light source and your subject is greater and your light source is small, a sharp shadow will be formed. We can have different light sources. Our light source can be natural sources like the sun and the moon, or it can be artificial man-made like a light pole or a flashlight or a lamp or anything else like that. So we said we have different types of shadows. The first type we want to work on is called positive sun. The reason why this type of light source is called positive is that whenever your sun is above the horizon, no matter where exactly, it is called a positive sun. Another type that we want to work with is negative sun. It is because the sun is below the horizon line. In this case, the sun can actually be behind your subject. Think that we have some elements on the ground. These elements can be anything. They can be a cactus, they can be a lamppost, they can be a person, or they can be anything we can think of. The first thing we have to do is to determine the source of our light that we have considered in this section. The second thing we have to do is to find the vanishing point of our light, which is called SVP or shadow vanishing point. For this purpose, we draw a vertical line from the light source to the horizon line, and wherever that line reaches the horizon line, that point would be the vanishing point of our shadow. The next step is to find the path of our shadow and see in what direction our shadow is going to form on the ground. Whenever we draw a line from the bottom of our object to the vanishing point, we can find the path or direction of our shadow. Well, we realize that the direction of our shadow is somewhere in these areas. And after that, we can draw a line from the head of the object towards the light source to determine the length of the shadow. And just as simple as this, we can draw the shadow of objects in perspective. I'm going to go for some practical examples to help you understand the concept better. The shadows of such things are very simple. Now for the negative sun, we have the same objects in the same position as before. Then the light source, which should be definitely below the horizon line. And then the shadow vanishing point. Now, according to what we said, we must first find the path of our shadow. So let's draw a line from the bottom of our object towards the vanishing point of the shadow. As I said, this step of the work helps us to find the direction of the shadow. But because the sun is below the horizon line or is somehow behind our object, the direction of the shadow is reversed. I mean, it falls in this direction. After that, again, we draw a line from the head of our object towards the light source to determine the length of our shadow. As you can see, this type of shadow is called negative sun. There are times when the sun is outside the plane of our frame, which means that the sun is too far from our subject. In these cases, the sunlight is considered parallel. Imagine that the direction of the sunlight is like this. Well, if you had such a case, you should draw a line parallel to the direction of the sunlight that passes through the head of our object. And then to determine the direction of our shadow, it completely is considered parallel with the horizon line. As I said, this is the case for times when the sun is outside our plane because the sun is kilometers away from the earth, and this makes designer consider the light source parallel. And as a result, it causes our shadow to be formed like this. As you can see, there is no shadow vanishing point here. And this was for today's tutorial. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.